This is a series of guest lectures that we have organized for the faculty of TANUVAS under the IDP of TANUVAS scheme. So today we have with us Mrs. Nandita Pandey, who is going to speak to us about stress busters for a happy and healthy life. So now may I now invite Nandita Pandey. Ms. Nandita was here 3 days back with the topic on how to relieve stress, and she is again here to talk today on the happy life. So may I now invite Nandita Pandey to start her speech so that people also will start joining. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sankan, for that. I would like to start the session too. Am I audible? I just want to check that. And then
Yeah. You're audible, yeah.
perfect. So I'm going to do a screen share, if that's okay.
You are permitted, ma'am. Kansha.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just to build on to what we were doing last time so that everybody, some of you may not have been there last time. So I'm just going to start off with a quick 2-minute recap on what we did and then continue from last time. So last time we spoke about what is stress. So this is a session 2 in the series that we're talking about. In the last session, we talked about what is stress, and a quick recap of that is you get stressed when your resources are less than the pressure that is being created for you, which means that if I am having a lot of pressure, but I don't have the right resources to remove that pressure, there is stress in me. We also spoke about the effects of stress, how it manifests in our lives. And based on that, we came to our emotional stress wheel. And I'm sure each one of you had made your stress wheel in talking about what causes stress for you. What is the main pain area for you? Which is it emotional stress? Is it physical stress? Is it social stress, organizational stress? Lifestyle, mind traps, daily issues, or personality. And post that, I spoke about a concept called 1 and 10 and a hero zero concept. So I'm going to bring those in today. But before I talk about hero zero, I'm going to share a story with you. So, this is something that happened to me way back in 2005. And at that time, I was moving from Delhi, which was my home city, with my in-laws there. My parents are very close by. I just delivered a baby, and my husband decided to change his job, and we moved to Pune. Now, when I asked everybody how is Pune, everybody said, "Oh, it's a lovely place, retirement home, weather is good, everything about Pune was good, 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 good." And I said, "Okay, let's move," because as much as I did not want to move, I was happy being in Delhi because my work was in Delhi. My business, I had just started up with a consulting business, was in Delhi. Everything was in Delhi for me, like a traditional Indian housewife, wife rather. I followed my husband to Pune. 3 months into the city, and I was crying every single day. I did not find a maid. I didn't find a caregiver. I always had problems. My husband was out for office morning to evening. I could not speak to my neighbors because language was a problem. Or even when I spoke to them, they were very traditional in their way of thinking. So they did not appreciate me leaving my child with a caregiver. I couldn't find a creche. I couldn't find a school for my elder daughter. And it was bad. So the only thing that I did from 3 months to the 1 year that I lived in Pune was crib, cry, 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 cry all the time, telling my husband, "Can we move back? Or you stay here, I'll go back. I don't want to live in the city. It's a bad place. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that." Finally, I had my dad coming over, staying with me. Sometimes somebody else helped me out. And finally, things started changing for me. Okay. And at the end of 1.5 years, I got used to the culture of Pune, the people of Pune, the lifestyle. I left my assignment and I picked up a full-time job, which was very well paying. It had a creche, so I could, leave my daughter there. I found a school for her. I found an amazing lady to take care of my daughter. And I was extremely happy, enjoying my life in Pune because I loved the weather. We could go out on weekends. Everything was nice. And 6 months later, my husband announced that he's taken up a job in Chennai. Okay. Now, I want you to think about this situation. You may not have moved cities, you may not have faced a similar situation, but tell me what, according to you, was going on in my head now. And how does stress play a role here? So I want you to think about it. There is a person who moved from one city to another, took 1.5 years to settle into a new city. 6 months into the city, getting into the new environment, let me put it that way, and there is a time for change again. Okay. So next stops Chennai. He gave me an option because he had seen me crying, cribbing, and had, harassing him for 1.5 years. He said, you have an option to go back to our Delhi house. Parents are there, in-laws are there, house is there. You can live there. Or the other option is you move with me to Chennai. Now, again, Chennai is a big culture shock for me because I don't have the nearest relative or family or friend that I had was maybe in a Hyderabad. Okay. I was new to the city. I was new to the culture. Again, language is something that I did not know. And if I could not lead, if I was Marathi was difficult, definitely Tamil would have been even more difficult for me. And with two children, one 2-year-old, one 5-year-old, it was extremely difficult, but I decided to move this time. And when I was moving, I told myself one thing: come what may, I will not leave the city. I will not go back to my husband and say, it is bad. I don't like the weather. It is hot. It is humid. It is this. It is that. Very much to what happened. I moved into Chennai. We stayed in a place in Velachery. My husband's office was in the now city center. They had an office there. So he was working out of that. And within 3 months, he moved to Chengalpet because his office was in Chengalpet. So he used to travel from Velachery to Chengalpet. Very nicely, like a very nice husband. He gave me, said, this is the house. Please take care of the admission of the children, find a creche, find a job, do everything yourself. And I started from scratch without a car, no Google Map days. So I had to go and stop on the road and ask people for traffic. The first interview that I went to was in Padi. So you can imagine how I reached Padi to be told that, okay, sorry, we don't take women in our company. All that I went through. Okay, and then I decided to get back to consulting, of course. But the first 5 to 6 months in Chennai were bad, I would say, because I couldn't find a school which had a big playground, because in Delhi and Pune, you have schools with huge playgrounds, lot of space, which I was not finding in Chennai. And I moved in the month of July, so admission was difficult for my daughter. Went through a very bad experience, but I had decided I will not go back to my husband and crib about it. Now, do you think which of those two situations, moving to Pune was difficult for me in terms of the way I've described it, but not what I went through, but a shift to a Chennai would have been a more difficult thing for a person. I want you to, if you can, and if you really want to participate, please write down your answers in the chat box. According to the description, with the new city at both the places, similar challenges, which city was more difficult to adjust and adapt to is a question I'm going to ask you. Chennai or Pune? Okay, I want to see the responses. I'm very interested in the responses. Chennai, okay. Anybody else would like to answer that? Chennai or Pune? Okay. Yes, it is Chennai from that perspective because it's a total culture shock, right? No family, no friends. The only person I would know is my husband and my 2 daughters. Even the company was new, so I didn't even know the ex-employees of the company kind of stuff. But trust me, something very interesting happened in Chennai for me. I liked the city, and I think this happened in 2007. We are in 2021. We have been here for so many years. We don't intend to move out of the city anymore. There's something that changed because of which I stayed back in Chennai. Today, I am a part of a lot of business forums. I'm a part of Rotary. I know people. In fact, anybody moving to Chennai is given my contact number. Anywhere in my relative side, 3rd relative, 4th generation, everybody's given my number. Oh, she knows people. What made that change happen? Why was a stress situation not so stressful is something that I want you to look at. And that is something we will look at, and how you can actually bust your stressors. So the name of the game here is a very simple thing called change. Change is the only constant in life. We've always heard that. Okay. So I want you to do an activity with me while you're sitting in your own offices, your own homes, maybe in your car, if possible, if you're driving back home. If I ask you to change 3 physical things in yourself, 3 physical changes I want you to do please do that. So a change can be, if you're wearing a ring, you take it off. If you're wearing a earring, you can take it off. If you're wearing a clip, you can take it off. If you're wearing shoes, you can take it off. So whatever, 3 physical changes. Physical change is something that you can undo very quickly. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. 3 physical changes if you can do. If it's not possible, just close your eyes and imagine you making 3 physical changes. So I'll give you the liberty of space. And if you can't make those changes because you're at a place where you can't do it or you're driving, just visualize 3 things that you would do to make that change right now. And when you've done, just put a thumbs up sign in the chat box so I know you're done. 3 only, not too many. 3 changes. So I'm going to do 3 changes. Okay. Taken out 1 earring. I only wear 1. I'm wearing only 1 earring. So I'm going to take out ring. I'm wearing, so I'm taking out both my earrings, and I've taken out my ring. So these are the 3 changes I've done. Because I'm sitting at home, I'm not wearing shoes. You can do whatever you want. Once you've done that, just put a thumbs up sign for me to know you've done it. Yeah, anybody on the video who would like to show what they've done, I'm fine with that also. Okay, 1 person done. Anybody else? If you haven't, you can't do it physically, visualize it. That's fine with me. Just visualize it. Okay. Perfect. I see a couple of people have put a thumbs up, so I'm going to go ahead. Now, if you were wearing a ring in your right hand, and you put it in your left hand, that is not a physical change because the ring is still with you. It's called redeployment of resources. It's the same as you working in one department and moving to another. One person goes on leave, you put another person in his place. That's called redeployment of resources. That's not called a change. So I'm going to make the game a little more interesting for you. I want you to visualize 3 more changes. Don't do them, just visualize 3 more. Okay. 3 more physical changes what you can do. So if I close my eyes, maybe I can take off the toe ring that I'm wearing. I can take off the beads that I'm wearing, whatever. 3 physical changes more you need to visualize. Once you're done with that, put a thumbs up for me to know you've done it. Either in the chat box or on your screen. Either of the 2 is fine with me, please. Yeah. Done? Okay, 1 person done, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. I have 4 or 5 people who've done it. Others are not participating, so I will leave you to where you are. Okay. Can we make it interesting? 3 more changes. Possible, not possible. So in the chat box, or those who are actually playing along with us, either making those changes or even visualizing it, I want you to tell me possible another set of change, yes or no. If I ask you to make 3 more changes, is it possible for you or not? Please type in your answers in the chat box. Possible, not possible. Any responses? Not possible, possible, okay. I'm looking for some more responses. 1 possible, 1 not possible. 50-50. Anand Chitra says possible. Okay. Anybody else? Come on, it's either possible or not possible. One of the 2. Okay. Dr. Dirashri, possible. Okay. Now, I want you to think about what I'm saying right now. It is possible, very much possible. You will think it is not possible only when you think, what is the next item I can remove from my body? That is when you will think it is not possible. But when you think change can also be adding on something, suppose you're not wearing a earring, you wear a earring. That's a change, right? Okay, this is a change. I'm going to do that right away for you. So this is a change, right? A change can be, I have a mask with me here. I wear a mask. Change, right? What is the other change we can have? I can hold a pencil. That's a change. I can hold a pen. That's a change, right? I can, start writing on a notebook or hold a notebook next to me. That's a change. I can wear socks. I can wear shoes. I can do anything. Now, what happens is when we think of a change as a negative reaction or a negative thing, we find everything associated with it as difficult. But when we see change as something which means adding on to, it becomes a positive feeling. Let's take COVID, for example, right? Now, most of you said that when I moved to Chennai, it was more stressful for me because the environment was difficult, new language, new people, everything different. But trust me, my journey in Chennai was much more smoother than my journey in Pune. Are you with me? So what made that difference happen is what I'm talking about. When I was moving to Chennai, I took it as another city I'm going to explore, another state I'm going to explore, another type of company I'm going to be working in, my children being exposed to a different environment altogether. And I took it as adding on to my experiences in life. It's adding on to a lot of things which were happening to me at that time in life. When I moved to Pune, what was I thinking of? A change for me at that point was moving away from family, moving away from friends, moving away from business, moving away from my comfort zone. And that is why change becomes difficult. Same with COVID. When you thought initially COVID was there and you thought, oh my God, you have to change the way you do things, it became a stressor. You get a new job. First few days in the job, oh my God, the comfort of being on that old chair of yours causes stress. Moving to a new city, moving to eating a new cuisine or food for that matter causes stress. If I move you from one city to another, the change of food also causes stress. It's not that anything else. I may still move with my family. I will still have relatives around me. But the whole fact is, oh, I'm not used to the old way of doing things can lead to stress because for me, change means taking away from. So stress and change are directly related all the time. Now, when I was talking about 1 and 10, this is how I'm going to relate the two. It's how you look at change will how you look at stress. If the way you look at change is positive, the stress will be lower, which you can handle. Remember, stress is when resources are less than the pressure created. So how do you reduce the pressure? There are two ways of working around it. Either increase the resources, which may not be in your hands most of the time, or reduce the pressure. So we are looking at the first technique of reducing pressure so that the stress that is there is reduced. And that is how we will accept change. Let's look at how we can accept this and move on. Okay. So I'm sure each one of you have had enough transitions in life, enough places where, you would have had situations where you had to move from out of your comfort zone to a place which was new to you because of which it caused a lot of stress. Tell me something, which were the most easiest changes that you've made in life? And I'll answer that question for you because I don't see a lot of participation right now. The easiest changes in life were those where you initiated the change. Let me repeat that. Easiest changes in life are those which you initiate. So the stress is less. How? If you want to move from one city to another, you are mentally prepared for that. You want to move out because you are embracing it. You're looking at newer opportunities, newer exposure, more money, more business, uh, you know, a better environment for your friends and family. It could be more possibilities for your children. It could be anything. And that is why the difficulty of transition is lesser. And that is why we say that at the end of the day, change is just a situation. The transition is psychological, and that is what causes stress. It's the emotional component of change that causes the stress, not the stress per se. New initiatives, new systems, new processes. For me, trust me, a very big cause of stress is changing my mobile phone. If you agree with me and you have a similar experience of changing a small thing like a mobile phone is a stress, because for me, it's learning a new technology. I'm used to using my mobile in a particular way. I know where the apps are. I just go click and everything is done. Here I have to look at, okay, how is the system done? How is the camera used? The regular features that I'm using is being used or not. We fear change because we think it is taking us away from what we are comfortable in. And that is why we say change is just a process or a situation. It's an evident situation. It's an event. And I'm going to link it back to E plus R is equal to O also. Change is an event. How you respond to that change is psychological. And that is what causes the stress in most of us. It's not the change that kills you, it's the transitions that kill you actually. So how can you make these transitions positive is what I want to ask about. Now, a very dangerous word these days today is called Chinese, right? But I'm going to use a Chinese concept here to teach you about change and how it can be taken positively. Can everybody, wherever they are sitting, okay, look at the screen now and read this out in your own head. Okay, read it out loud if possible, but if it is not possible to read it out loud, read it in your head. The moment I show it, you're supposed to read it. Do not think. Think of what comes to you first when you see the screen. Go. So for some of you, you would have read opportunity is now here. Some of you would have read opportunity is nowhere. Some of you may have also read opportunity is okay, nowhere. Yeah, two of them. Either opportunity is here, opportunity is nowhere. If you want to get really creative, you can write opportunity, I snow here. Right? Now, I'm going to read it out again, and I want you please respond on the chat box if possible. Two options I'm working with only. Opportunity is now here. Opportunity is nowhere. First option is now here. Second option is nowhere. Which of the two did you think? I want you to write it out in the chat box, please. The first one or the second one? First one is now here. Second one is nowhere. Which one did you think of? Okay. Second, now here. One, now here, one. Wow, a lot of responses. Very nice. So I'm going to make a prediction today based on your responses. So only those who've responded, I can predict your future. Are you ready for that? So all those others who want me to predict their future in life, please type out your responses. So I have a lot of you who've responded. One, two. Okay. I'm going to make a prediction. All those who believe opportunity is now here are very intelligent people. So you can clap for yourselves, give you a pat on your back and celebrate. People who think opportunity is now here are very intelligent people. The second set of people, opportunity is nowhere. Those who have written that second option are very smart people. Clap and tap yourself on the back. Okay, honestly, it doesn't make sense, right? Now, that is how things are. Now, opportunity is nowhere and opportunity is now here is not about your mindset in this activity. It is not about whether you are positive in life or you're negative in life. It doesn't mean whether you look at the good things in life or you look at the bad things in life. Please understand, it is just a statement. They're just some words weaved together. What you make out of that is what life is all about. Similarly, what you make out of a stress situation, that determines whether you're positive, you're negative, you're operating from 1, you're operating from a 10. And I'm going to take it a step further. When Chinese write this word change, they write it in this way. Why is it not more? Okay, here it is. Chinese write change like this. It is a combination of two characters. Chinese have characters, they don't have words. The first character, if I read it only as the first character, it means danger. Okay. If I read only the second one, it means opportunity. When I combine the two, it means change. Now, the question is, how are you looking at change? Are you taking it as a danger? Stress levels extremely high. Taking it as an opportunity, stress levels low, which means you are feeling resourceful. You're feeling there is less pressure. You're feeling empowered. Then the changes will be, your stress will be lower. And that is why we are able to overcome the stress. Look at any situation in your life. If you've taken that opportunity with a resourcefulness, with an thing that, okay, I can get resources to make this happen, you've not become stressed about a situation. It could be a car accident you have been a witness to. It could have been an emergency situation at home where you took charge and started doing things because you felt resourceful. You started calling up people. A lot of us, even during COVID times, when we had families and friends who needed help, what did we do? We picked up the phone and started calling, right? You felt resourceful. Stress levels were lower. But what happened when you came to know every single day oxygen level dipping, city doesn't have oxygen, city doesn't have beds, the danger level started increasing. What happened to you? Your stress levels regarding the COVID situation was extremely high. You became paranoid to an extent that you did not step out. You didn't let others step out in the second wave. First wave, we were fine. But like I said last time, our learnings is something that we don't carry. Again, we started going out without masks. Most of you would have had two masks on, sanitizer, one bottle in left pocket, one sanitizer bottle in the right pocket. Yes, because you saw this as a danger. I was reading today, in fact, in my HR business forum, we are a part of an HR group, and there was a discussion going on because of this pandemic. Okay. Yes, we know, medical companies have gone up. They started charging too much. They've made profits. Hospitals have made profits. We've heard all that, right? But a very interesting phenomena of this lockdown, which is how you used this situation as an opportunity, is IT companies are booming right now. Anybody into data security, cloud, everybody is charging very high, because of which project timelines are getting delayed because they don't have manpower. So very interesting discussion that was going on in our group since morning is the salary hike that a person who does programming, who does computing for softwares, who does digital transformation work, when they were changing jobs last year, they were demanding a 15 to 30% rise from one company to another, and companies were not giving it to them. 15% hike. Max they could claim was 30. Today, they're charging nearly 100% hike, and companies are willing to take them at that expensive rate. So the HR team was discussing how long will this phenomena rise and how will it hit the bottom line of organizations? Will the companies be able to sustain this for a very long time? How will they actually take care of other employees? And those were the discussions that we were doing in the group of how we can advent this situation. But understand, it is an opportunity for not only the medical fraternity, but also for programmers, for IT companies, for people who are doing home delivery of food. It's how you look at a situation. And if you feel resourceful, you will be able to overcome it, right? Laptop companies booming. So uniform companies going down, books going down. But how do you look at a situation and look at how best you can use the existing resources to be able to overcome the situation will bring your stress levels down. So One of the things that you face when you undergo stress, and I want to talk about that, is first is a surprise, shock, sadness. That's the first reaction we have. It can't happen to me. So I remember I was traveling to Indonesia in the month of January, and that's right after I landed in India, right before Pongal. I think I landed on 13th of January, 12th of January. I landed back in India. I'd gone on vacation. I'd heard this. There's a virus called, COVID, Corona, which was there in China, and they're locking people. It is only this thing, and we were like, okay, China mein ho raha hai. It's in China. It doesn't happen here. And I remember right after I landed, 3 days after that, international flights were stopped from India, right? The movement of flights and all. And I was just thanking my stars a week, I think 4 or 5 days later, I was just thanking my stars I landed on time. Otherwise, I would have been stuck in a country like Indonesia for I don't know how many months with my kids all being here. So when anything happens, the first is it doesn't happen to us. It can't happen to us, right? So when initial cases of corona started happening, we did not believe. And take any situation which is stressful for you. It's first shock, sadness. You feel sad if there's been a death in the family. There's a grieving thing. You do feel upset about it. But then you say, can't happen. No, 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 no. The second stage is where you start getting angry about it. There's a lot of anxiety to it. And some people start attacking the situation. When I say attacking the situation, they attack the situation because they feel unresourceful. Okay? They attack a situation because they think, I can't do anything about it. So might as well, blame the government, blame Mr. Modi, blame the local authorities, blame China, blame eating meat, blame eating this, blame eating that, and they start attacking people because they're still living in denial. And once you're in these two stages, your stress level, especially in stage 2, is extremely high, which could lead to a lot of physical and emotional manifestations. That is where you start throwing things, you start abusing people, you start using foul language. Those are some of the stressors that you have. Even at home, for a very simple situation, when you're not able to accept, you start getting upset or angry or losing your patience or cool on family members around you. You may just raise your voice, right? That's what I'm talking about. The third step is your rejection or your realization to change. You give in. This is how life is. Universe is created that way, that thing happens, and I am a very small person in the big scheme of things. And you reject to the situation. That is rejection. How is it different from rationalization? Rationalization is, I know this is a situation. I know I cannot do anything. What is the best that I can do to make use of the situation? Can I learn computers? Can I know how to take classes online? That's where the rationalization happens. Okay, I know I can't take classes for 30 students. Can I take it for 5? Rejection is, it's all the universe decides, I'm no one. And then you accept. But the acceptance in both the situations is different. When you do rejection and you accept, stresses are still present. But when you do rationalization and you accept, your stress level goes down because you feel resourceful. And again, I'm giving comparison because I'm going to bring you to the most important part here, which says that how you actually respond to change is determined by your own personal beliefs. It is about the language that you use that determines how you look at change and how you look at stress. I give an interesting example. I was talking to a friend, and her husband has got promoted and moved as a brigadier to one of the, I won't say a war posting, but yeah, a very prominent place in India. And her husband moved and she moved. The children are still here because their academic year is not over, so they are still in their hometown where they were. And the only messages I get from her is, it's very nice. We're exploring new stuff. This is happening. That is happening. And she's very happy about the things. I'm looking forward to the children to come in. They can see the sand dunes. They can do this. They can do that. And she's invited all of us. Once COVID get over, come over. I'll take you here. I'll take you to the border. We can see Thar. We can see this. So she's moved to the Gujarat side. Another friend of mine, her husband is also from the armed forces. Both are my classmates. And her husband has also got a posting and he's got it in the Northeast. Now, this person calls me up yesterday. It's so sad here. Food is bad. They don't know how to make food. I said, what happened? I'm only eating khichdi. They don't know how to cook this. The only thing I hear is this girl crying, changing, crying, crying, crying. I don't know, what will I do here? I said, it's a good station you've got. Your good schools are there. Why not? No, I think I should just keep my children with my parents, or maybe I'll leave my husband there, make him stay. So I say, I'll come back. Please understand, change is inevitable, especially in the lives of these army officers, because every 2 years they change their places. It's how you believe matters, because both their own internal belief systems will determine how you look at change. If you look at change, and going back to what I started with, if you look at change as something positive, if you look at change as exposure, experiences, it will be good. If you look at change as negative, taking away from, you will never be happy with any change in your life. Now, how we form these beliefs is a result of our upbringing. If my parents, during my growing up years, whenever there was a stress, I could see my mother getting angry, I could see my dad fuming, he getting panic attacks, I will start believing change is bad. I will start my concepts of things start when I was a child. For me, when there is a change, I look at how best you can sort it out, because my dad had been in one of the my dad's when he was working, his job was to do a lot of firefighting for stuff, because he was in the electricity department. So when a feeder went off, when I remember so many times the northern grid failed, my dad was standing there. He said, okay, I cannot get the grid open, but the best I can do is stand with my team there and ensure that the power stations start running. I've seen my dad do that all the time. Whenever there was a power failure, my dad was never at home. And I used to wonder, at such a senior level, why do you have to go? Why can't people? And anyways, you're not going to climb on those poles or in a substation or in a generation plant to see that the power comes up. But he says, no, that's the least I can do, to be with my team, to tell them I'm with them. And I remember mom cooking. I remember 3 days there was some power shut down, and my mother used to cook with 2, 3 ladies, cook so much of food and send it to these guys who were working 24/7 at that time. So he said that is the least we can do. These guys have not been able to go home. So my dad said, okay, food will come from my house. So 3 people cooking 24/7. So I have seen that at one point in time. For me, if there is a crisis, you stand up to it. So the beliefs that get formed will help you deal with your stress. Now, you cannot go back to your parents and say, why did you believe something different? Or why did you teach me something different? But what you can do is you can change these beliefs to suit you. And that is how your stress levels will come down. Because we all are adults today, we all are mature people to know that certain beliefs will not work for us. And remember, beliefs are not good or bad. They are good if they work for us, they are bad if they don't work for us. So for me, the same belief of going out and stepping up and helping people becomes a bad belief when there was floods in Chennai and I left my kids at home and my husband at home and I went to save a friend. Net result, my own car drowned. I was able to save my friend, move her from one house to another, but in the interim, my car got damaged. I was not given insurance. For 4 months, I had only one car, which was my husband's car. So the same thing can have positive effects. Yes, I feel good, I saved a friend, but at the end of the day, I lost 7 to 8 lakhs, okay, whatever. So the idea is no belief is good or bad. It depends on how it works for you. For me, if the car is important, I will say, you know what, I lost a car. But for me, my friend was important. So I say I saved the life of a friend. So it's about who you are and how you believe will actually determine your stress level. So I'm not going to play this game. And then coming back to the hero zero concept is, if you feel that you are resourceful, okay, if you feel you are empowered, if you feel you have to find solutions and your beliefs are such that makes you feel empowered, you're operating out of a 10. The event, which is the event, how you respond and the outcome will change, will make you a hero. And if you feel that you're unresourceful, your stress levels are high, the pressure takes over, you are negative about what the change that is happening in your life, you will react to a situation and the outcome will be very different. I'll play this a little, take a little more into this. So how can you do change this? You need to reframe, you need to do positive thinking, you need to focus on your strengths and learn from your stress. You are under look for opportunities. I'm going to talk more about the reframing and positive thinking in the next session. Here, I want to focus primarily upon the 110 concept and how you can feel resourceful and not resourceful. Okay, you need to seek out for a positive, you need to make a change. How do you actually start feeling resourceful so that the pressure goes down and your resourcefulness comes up so that the stress level decreases is what I'm going to talk about. So let's talk about the play 110 here. How do you do that? Like I said, when you feel low, dejected, when your negative belief systems work, you feel you react to situations. COVID, how can it happen? Floods, it can't happen. This is bad, da, 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 and you start fighting, you start creating stress, not only for your own self, but for people around you. And that is why when you feel unresourceful, you too much to do, you fear failure, you fear rejection. That is why you react to certain way. You fear success. A lot of us today fear success. That is also a reason for stress. Interestingly, I'm going to talk about this once I explain the others. You become desperate, you become worried, there's a lot of anxiety, you become bored, you're guilty, you feel let down, you feel embarrassed about situations, you're angry, you're hurt, you're confused, you're frustrated, you feel stupid. And that's the time stress takes over more, it empowers you, it just catches you like this. Okay. Now, when I say fear of success also makes you stressed, okay, I'm going to share a real story and see if you can relate to it. I had one of my, I was working in Daimler in HR, and there was this person working with us, very, very, very knowledgeable person in the field of engines. And we were looking at somebody to do training for engines and develop a manual for the Indian market. But the work had to be done in Germany because we wanted to study how the trucks were being done there and look at the engines there, write a manual which could be written for the Indian, whatever our suppliers, for our vendors, and for the various, stores that we had in place. So we started with that, and it was a 3-year assignment. Okay, because when you move in as a trainee, you go for 1 year, 2 years, but when you move as an expatriate, which means your India salary is protected, you get more salary there, you get all the perks, benefits, and all that. So I approached this guy, and he was in his, at that time, I remember, late 40s, early 50s. Okay. So I went to him and I said, sir, congratulations, your name has been recommended for a movement to Japan and Germany. So I'm very happy, sir. Would you be interested? So I would want you to come meet the HR head and also meet up with the technical head and do the final processes so that then we can move your profile up to Germany. He said, Nandita, I don't want to go. So I was a little shocked. I said, you don't want to go means what? So I explained the advantages of moving to Germany. I explained the salary. He was really getting at least 3 times the salary that he was getting. Amazing opportunity to live in Germany as a national, all that. Okay, developed country. Every company's dream. Most of the employees who join Daimler want to move to Germany. Again, a developed nation, heart of automotive design and all that. So I asked him, I said, why not, sir? And he sat down very comfortable. I still remember the way he sat down. He said, Nandita, listen to me. I have 2 children. My daughter is studying in SRM, 3rd year in engineering. Another 1.5 years, I have to get her married. My son has entered he was in Trichy. Son has got through in BIM Trichy. Okay, both my kids are settled. Another 1 or 2 years, I'll get my son married off. He's in BIM, he will get a good job also. I said, okay, sir. My wife is from here, local. She was down south, she was living somewhere, but she's from there. I have all my family here, my friends here. Why would I at this age want to move to a Germany? So I said, sir, there's more opportunity, more exposure, business, and like all that I was telling him. He said, see, I started with the scooter in life. Today, I have 2 cars standing in my house. One the company has given, one I bought, which is just lying there because both my children don't use it. They've got good jobs. My daughter will get married. She will have her own car. Husband, whatever, son will buy his own car. Why should I leave the comfort of eating home cooked food by my wife and go to a place like Germany? I said, sir, you know what? The company is allowing your wife also to move. Your kids can also move to Germany. Now, kids being moved to Germany means they can find a job in Germany, start off their careers in Germany. No, I like getting up and smelling filter coffee. I like being in the, every 3 months, 2 months, we go to our village, we meet our family and friends. I don't want to do that for anything in the world. I don't want. Now, so if you understand the fear of being successful, then he also said something which is very interesting for me. He said, anyways, most of my relatives don't talk to me too much because they think I'm a big man today. I have 2 cars. I'm a big man. I live in a city like Chennai. If I go to Germany, I will not have roots anymore. My brothers will stop talking to me. My sisters will not associate with me. He said, who will help me find a groom for my daughter? And I was shocked. Honestly, I was shocked. I wanted to tell him there are enough websites to go and find a groom for your daughter. And that is the reason you're not moving. But understand that is his fear. His fear of success is he lose family, he lose friends, he lose a, a very comfortable environment around him. And that was causing the stress. So he decided not to go. Okay. So that is what I'm talking about. So stress can be caused by success also. It is not always caused by failure. The second is when you feel resourceful, you feel confident, you feel determined, you feel curious, stimulated, a lot of fascination, a lot of passion in you, a lot of energy. Let's do it. Let's find a way to do it. You feel nothing can stop you. There is a problem. Yes, I know there's a problem, but what can we do about it? You're flexible, you're vital, you're appreciated, you feel loved, you feel enthusiastic, you feel successful, you feel funny, you feel hopeful. Why funny? Because you're able to diffuse the situation by laughing it off. That is when you are in a positive state of mind. Now, I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to answer because I've been talking for too long. If you are resourceful, do you think you will be able to handle stress easily? Yes or no? I want an answer, please, in the chat box. If you are feeling resourceful, do you think stress will get the better of you, or you will be stressed for long, or will stress overpower you ever? Is a question I need to ask you. Please answer no. Okay. Any other responses? No. Okay. I think you're right, because when you feel resourceful, it's not that stress will not happen to you, but you will be able to handle it easily because the stress levels will be low. So it will not manifest itself into something which is, I'm going to talk about, which is getting to your physiological aspects. It will not hover around you. It's not going to catch you on your emotional aspects, physical aspects, and your emotional aspects. Okay. That's what happens when you feel resourceful. So like I said, when you feel your mindset is resourceful, your mind is positive, and I said it's all a mind game, stress, your performance is high and you focus on results. When you feel unresourceful, your results are not good. And coming back to what we said, event plus response. If you react, outcome is negative. If you respond, outcome is positive. Let's look at that. There was a bad situation of COVID. I'm going to take that as an example because the biggest event that has happened in our lives in the last 1 year. Okay. Some of us started cribbing, crying, reacting to COVID. Okay. We became paranoid. We stopped meeting people. We stopped doing a lot of things. We started being in our home. We started getting depressed. People started putting on weight, whatever. There was another set of people, same COVID situation. They started forming groups and they started helping others out. They started reaching out. That is a positive mindset. Yes, the situation was COVID. Yes, I was stuck at home. Yes, I did not have the same resources that I had, but I was feeling resourceful, which meant I wanted to make a change, which meant that I wanted to do something which would help me and the society. And I went and formed focus groups. I formed groups which would help out. I started giving out ration. I started giving out discounts. A lot of people have done a lot of things, right? I started joining communities which would get hospital beds for people. It's what about? So when you're feeling resourceful, please understand outcome is important. I'll repeat, when you're feeling resourceful, outcome is important. When you're feeling stress, reaction is takes precedence. That means if you are feeling resourceful, come what may, if one situation, one option doesn't work, you find another way to work it out, third way to work it out, a fourth way to work it out. But if you feel unresourceful, what happens? You react to a situation. I'll give you a very interesting thing which happened to us as a club. I'm a part of a Rotary club and it happened to our club. So every club in Rotary, all Rotarians said, oh, we have to do something for the situation. The district started off and there were a lot of options which were being floated. And in my club, I was a part of the team and we were discussing on what to do. And we said, okay, let's do something different because our club always does different things. And we said, okay, let's sponsor a ward in a hospital, a COVID ward in a hospital. So we wanted, and we were working at a very, very fast pace because understand time was of essence when the second wave struck. So we called up a couple of our people who we knew were connected to the hospitals. We had some doctors in our teams. We asked them, okay, which are the hospitals? What do they need? Everybody said oxygenators, oxygenators. And the first meeting we had, we said, okay, let's give oxygenator, 20 oxygenators we'll do. As a club, fat, we'll collect money and do it. Now, there was one person who said, listen, the world is doing oxygenators, and after 6 months, oxygenators will not be required. And what are you going to do after that? That's been foresighted. It's an immediate need, but 3 months, 2 months, it will not be required. And we said, okay, then what do we do? So we said, okay, let's actually, that's where the whole thing of let's look at a hospital ward started. Okay. So we said, how would we collect money for a hospital ward? Is it just giving, the equipments, or are we putting the entire ward together? So as a club, we decided the kind of people we have, the kind of people who we have connects with, and we've all felt resourceful at that time because we were building onto each other's energies. We said, let's sponsor an entire ward. Okay. And we took it on ourselves to look at a hospital, find a hospital, identify their needs, look at what they require and generate that amount. We finally finalized on the brand value and we knew certain hospitals we wanted to work with. We looked at Hindu Mission Hospital because of its credibility. We did a quick due diligence with our members, actually going, checking it out during COVID times, went and checked out the hospital, understood from them what is the need, and we got a budget of 75 lakhs from the hospital. Each person in the club, each member, their wife and their children, and I must mention that, started working on getting the result. And what was the result? 75 lakhs in 2 weeks. We got 80 lakhs in 2 weeks. We sponsored an entire ward in Hindu Mission Hospital. What Hindu Mission Hospital did at that time was worked at war footing, got the beds, whatever they were getting, they were started working. Because the money was available, they actually got the ward ready in 30 days flat, right from civil work to getting state-of-the-art hospital beds, oxygenators. They have all the latest equipments there. And we launched the hospital ward within 30 days of us starting the project. And that could only happen because each person was only working on what can I contribute to that 75 lakhs? And that is feeling resourceful. There was one person who said, hey, you're trying to do too much in this time. Nobody will give you money. No one will give you money. Trust me, no, it doesn't come in. World is bad. People are losing jobs. Our own Rotarians had to lose. Some of them had to close down their businesses. But the result mattered, performance mattered, mindset mattered. And I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. There was one child who had started working right before COVID. This one little girl, she came and she donated her entire salary. She said, Auntie, please take my salary. This is the least I can do. And then one child started. We had 13 children who donated their salaries for this project, 1 month salary. So that is what I'm saying. When you start working in a resourceful manner, your stress level goes down. That is how the power of actually working from a 10. Results are important. But what happens if you start feeling unresourceful? You'll say, it will not happen. Oh, 75 lakhs will never happen. Let's try. It happens. It happens. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. What happens? Your energy goes down. Your efforts go down. You look at the negative. In those 15 days, not a single day has gone where each member has not spoken to the other member and said, okay, I know this one, you know this one. Can we combine and go and ask for resources from this person so that the pressure is more and they can give us the funds? So that is the power of being resourceful. Your stress level goes down. Your focus is on getting solutions done rather than something else. And that brings me to the last part of this session. Question is, what is your state? It is not that you can remain on a 10 all the time. You will fluctuate. How do you keep to that 10 is something I'm going to talk about in the next session. The positive frame of mind. How do you remain positive is something I'm going to talk about in the next session, because we are nearly over. And I'm going to also talk about something of how do you maintain your focus while you are at a 10, because focus is important. If you lose that, you slip to unresourceful. And how do you become fizzy? Fizzy is not a drink here. Fizzy is, shaky, all lost, because you operate off a 10. Because at the end of the day, it is for all of us to not feel that stress, get the pressure down, feel empowered, and do things the way we want to, because it doesn't apply only in stress situations. In every phase of life, if I'm able to maintain the focus, I win. I'm the winner in whatever I do. So that is all from my side for today. And I'm going to talk about these two topics and how do you remain in a positive frame of mind in the next session. So, any questions? Thank God the internet play did not behave them itself today.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
In your lecture, you mentioned that success is one of the stress.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that is, many times you feel that you succeed in the task. After succeeding, you are not required in the organization. So, if you apply the American policy of hire and fire, then, once you complete your task, there is always a possibility of being rejected. But on the positive side, you can think that there are other opportunities. Suppose, an organization hires you to develop a vaccine. So once you develop and complete it, then your task is over.
Yeah.
So now your success becomes a potential enemy for being rejected. But what you can always think is, there are other diseases and there are other vaccines.
True.
So you should always, I think, if you should think that success should always coupled with the future opportunities also. So while working on a particular task, and we should always think that there are many other opportunities, and we have to move from one opportunity to other opportunity, and we should never think that this is the only opportunity I have, and so probably I should not complete the task so that I always remain in the organization. Something kind of a negative thing.
I like to.
Why I am saying this is, I read a book sometime back about organization. So, which said that the entire veterinary profession was started for controlling a disease called rinderpest. So, a vaccine was developed, and now, next to smallpox, rinderpest has been eradicated from the world.
Okay.
This is the biggest achievement of veterinarians. That book also mentioned that the success also poses threat to veterinarians in many nations. Because the change of scenario. So now people are focusing on production aspect. So with a lot of new concepts being introduced, so your success becomes a potential threat. So probably in that case, if you could tell us how to find opportunities also, now that will be very helpful for the faculty, particularly young faculty.
Okay, two things I would like to mention here before I answer your question. I like the way you looked at it from a positive mindset. So looking at you and talking to you right now, I find you as a very resourceful person. On a one play 10-1, I call it. I would give you a 10 because honestly, yes, there's a lot of people think that, when my task is over, I'll lose my job. And especially people on contract, people who are, on a particular assignment, they feel what next? Like you said, if you're operating out of a 10, right? you will try to create opportunities for yourself. It is not always that opportunities come knocking. We've been mistold a lot of times that opportunity will be there. At times we create opportunities for ourselves to see what next can I contribute. And that whole mindset of what is the next opportunity, how can I create that for myself, will only happen when I'm working out of a positive mind frame. If I'm working out of a negative mind frame, I will only think this goes away, my job goes away, this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. So I am in a negative spiral. How do you create opportunities for yourself? You need a couple of things which are not related to this topic per se, but generally how you create opportunities is you need to be visible, you need to be confident about what you're doing, you need to be very well read and keep updating your knowledge and your skills. I think that is something most people forget to do because we are in the comforts of our, I always say a teacher, a trainer, teachers, doctors, lawyers are people who cannot, and most professions today, yes, cannot say that their work is done, because every single day there is so much to be done by them. It's about going and identifying what next can they do. There is a saying that if you are not learning, you're dying. Because somebody somewhere is, there are enough problems. Trust me, we don't even have, not even covered 1/10 of the world problems today. If you really want to go out and help, look at around you, you will find issues which are there, which you can contribute and change. It's about having that mindset of looking out for opportunities. That is more important, which the reason is not that they're not opportunities. The reason why we don't look for opportunities is because we're so comfortable being in our own selves that we think, why change the status quo? And you will see people who made differences. You can take a Kalam for that example, a Modi for that example. We may love to hate him or hate to love him, is a different story. But people who've created opportunities in business, in science, in anywhere, are people who went with the positive mindset. What change can I bring about? How can I make it better? How can I improve this process? Those were reasons why innovations were made. That's the reason inventions were made. That's the reason we are where we are today. So creating that opportunity is all about having a mindset of openness, willing to look for problems around you and putting yourself through that process of making a change. It's all about that, I believe.
Yeah, one supplementary question, ma'am.
Yeah.
In that case, can we conclude that success is a threat only for people who are not resourceful or who are not making themselves resourceful?
Okay. So I'll quote in a data which is proven data to you and which validates what you're saying. Successful people, okay, are people who have 80% positive mindset. 20% of your success comes from your skill and your knowledge, no matter which field you're in.
Okay.
80% of your success comes from being resourceful, comes from being the fact that you have to make a change in your life and make not only in your life, but of people around you. I use a very interesting example, which is not related to this topic at all, but of Sachin Tendulkar. Right. Sachin Tendulkar is 20% skill and knowledge. Kamli was much better than him when you look at cricket in terms of knowledge and skill. Right. But he created once, see, opportunity was given to a lot of us. And I will say opportunity is given to a lot of us in many ways. It was given to a Kamli, it was given to a Tendulkar. Who made use of that opportunity was a Tendulkar and not a Kamli.
Yeah.
At the age of 22, he quit world cricket, which is not an age to even quit. So when you get an opportunity, what you do with that opportunity is what determines your success. And what you do is depends on your positive mindset. Now, if you think about it, when Tendulkar was born, the nurse did not go to Mrs. Tendulkar and say, here are India's 100 hundreds. It never happened that way. Nobody knew he's going to be a boy from the chawl will change the way cricket is played in India.
Okay.
So what you do by feeling resourceful, and he was not a guy who had a father who made a cricket pitch in front of his house, put out floodlights and all. How you use the existing resources to build on what you have, that will make you feel, that will make your success story. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure. Yeah. Any other questions? So next time we are going to talk about how do you remain in that state of being resourceful? How do you find opportunities for
Yeah.
yourself? I'm going
Yes.
to talk about that in the next session.
Yeah,
And
sure.
how can you avoid being defocused in life? And also, how do you maintain a positive mindset and have positive thoughts coming? And in the last session, I'll do a lot of exercises for you, which you can practice once the sessions are over to remain in that state of
Yeah.
bliss and opportunities. Yeah, those are the
Sure,
two
ma'am.
sessions that would follow.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you for the participation.
I think Nandita, Dr. Shankaran here, we have Dr. Selvaraj from Namakkal. Dr. Selvaraj, would you like to ask or add something to whatever that is taken today?
Please.
Madam,
Good afternoon, sir.
I could see your high level of spirit and
Thank you.
without even a small single minute of dullness, I could not find you on your face and the way you expressed and all that. And you also made us to ask questions and answer. That was a new thing I could observe from your lecture. We had many lecture earlier, but still they last discuss questions only in the end. But you also made us in between something active. Really, the stress, not only the physical stress, emotional, and especially after COVID, so serious. I could see people around me and all that. And my wife is also psychiatrist, and her case is increasing after this COVID.
True.
Now she is looking after 20. Previously, he used to attend only 1 digit. Now he is saying
my
that
God.
double digit daily. So really serious matter, and he has enlightened so many ideas how to burst out our thing. It's a very useful lecture to us, madam. Really.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of Namakkal BCRI campus, I thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Coordinator also, because of faculty from Namakkal, on behalf of faculty, I just thank all organizers, Sankar and everything, all the team members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for those kind words. It means a lot. Yeah.
Shankaran,
He's gone on.
Thank you.
The video is off today.
yes, he is
Yeah,
there.
no,
And I'm sure he's there.
Yeah, I'm here, Nandita. Thank you so much for your valuable time and enlightening our people on how to get rid of stress and lead a happy and healthy life. Thank you so much, and we will meet you next week on 23rd, and we are
Yes.
going to talk on the topic Heal Your Mind. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much. Bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Have a nice weekend, all of you.
Yes, thank you.